1.
Four Ukrainian infantrymen who wanted to hide in a ruined house were attacked by a Russian FPV drone. The infantrymen hid in a shelter because the ruined house was heavily damaged and destroyed. However, the drones were still following them. After the infantrymen entered the shelter, there was another FPV drone attack. One soldier was slightly wounded. The soldiers left the bunker to change their location again. They thought they could hide from the drones in the wooded area and hid among the trees. Along the way, however, the drones followed them step by step and followed them wherever they went. In the wooded areas where they were hiding, the drones attacked again. The soldiers, who were injured by successive FPV drones and had to constantly run away, hid in the ditch this time. Thanks to the heat-sensitive cameras of FPV drones, they can hit their targets precisely at night. At the same time, due to the quality of their cameras, they can also hit and destroy their targets during the day. Most of the time, soldiers whose vehicles are damaged are unfortunately attacked by another drone after they leave their vehicles. The Ukrainian soldiers who drove into the woods to make a plan were unaware that they were being followed. As a result of the drone operators working in coordination and giving the coordinates to each other correctly, the FPV drone attack on the infantry and the vehicle started immediately. One soldier, trying to escape the drone attack, went out into the open and unfortunately became an easier target. A few soldiers tried to hide in the shelter but were attacked by drones again. A Ukrainian vehicle carrying infantrymen realized it was being followed by an FPV drone. In order to evade the drone attack, he maneuvered quickly on the road, thinking the drone would miss. However, the drone hit him with a direct hit. The vehicle crashed and came to a stop, bursting into flames within seconds. Unfortunately, his crew did not survive the attack. The operative units of the Russian armed forces used a Lancet drone to blow up a tank of the Ukrainian armed forces. The Lancet drone is lightweight, portable. It has an operational range of 40 to 70 kilometers. It performs precise targeting thanks to its electro-optical camera and GPS guidance system. The Russian army destroyed the Bradley infantry fighting vehicle as a result of D-30 howitzer fire. FPV drone operators gave the coordinates of the Bradley infantry fighting vehicle to the D-30 howitzer crew. Then, as a result of the calculations made, the D-30 howitzer opened fire one after the other. As a result of the harmonious teamwork of the drone operators and howitzer crews, the target was hit as desired. It is vital that the military units of both countries work in harmony. The crew of the Russian D-30 howitzer opened artillery fire on a building in the Koronevsky district of the Kursk region, where a group of infantrymen of the armed forces of Ukraine was located. The D-30 howitzer crew received the coordinates of the building from Russian drone operators. The crew accurately entered the coordinates into the howitzer and opened fire one after another without wasting any time. In the Kursk region, drone operators of the Russian armed forces shot down a Bradley infantry fighting vehicle and a Ukrainian armored vehicle. The Bradley is an armored combat vehicle used by the U.S. military. It is manufactured by General Dynamics. It is a multi-purpose vehicle that can both carry infantry and attack enemy armored targets. Weapon equipment: 25mm M242 Bushmaster chain gun, Tau anti-tank missile, 7.62mm coaxial machine gun, range approximately 400 kilometers, made of lightweight aluminum and steel armor. In the direction of Kharkiv, a group of Ukrainian soldiers were shelled by a tank in a building where they were trying to hide. Drone operators determined the coordinates of the Ukrainian soldiers and gave the coordinates to the artillery units. Without any delay, the artillery started firing one after another. The targets were hit as planned. In the Pokrovsky direction, Russian FPV operators attacked the Ukrainian tank trying to hide in the bushes with 3 FPV drones in a row without stopping. The tank, which was heavily damaged as a result of the FPV drone attack, was no longer usable, so it actually became a scrap tank. And then the drone operators also destroyed the communication device installed in the area. And again in the Pokrovsky direction, Russian FPV operators are destroying or rendering unusable various Ukrainian vehicles, cars, armored vehicles, and tanks one by one. It is especially difficult to hit moving armored vehicles and tanks. Weather conditions sometimes make it difficult to use the drone. Another way to stop FPV drones is to attack them with another FPV drone. This is a very challenging challenge for both drone operators. They tried to hide the armored vehicle in a ruined building, but the FPV drone spotted it and attacked. The Sappers Battalion cleared about 30% of the liberated Ukrainsk territory in the Donetsk region from mines, explosive devices, military equipment. Tasks of the Sapper Battalion: defusing enemy mines in war zones, placing explosive devices for defense. 2S-7M Malka is a Russian-made self-propelled heavy artillery system. Such vehicles are specifically designed to provide long-range fire support. It uses a 203mm cannon. Its range can reach about 37 to 50 kilometers, depending on the ammunition used. They are designed for long-range artillery fire. It is mainly used to remotely destroy enemy infrastructure, logistics lines, and other important targets. '83rd. Calculation of the Prince Vandal Novgorodsky FPV fiber optic drone of the Separate Guards. The Air Assault Brigade shot down vehicles of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region. In the Pokrovsky direction, Russian drone operators destroyed a large number of armored vehicles, tanks, and cars. At the same time, mortars and howitzers were targeted. Fighters of the Central Forces Group destroyed Ukrainian equipment and weapons. Becoming a drone operator is not as easy as it sounds. You become a military drone operator after hours of flying. And drone operators are soldiers, just like any other soldier. They can also become the target of another drone. Anything can happen at any moment on the battlefield. 2 self-propelled artillery installations, 1 tank, 2 armored fighting vehicles, engineering equipment of the Ukrainian armed forces were destroyed. In my opinion, FPV drones have been a major technology that has changed the course of the war. You never know when and where the drones will attack. Of course, in war, you can expect an attack at any time, but FPV drones have made it much more difficult and scary. These small and low-cost technological warfare tools can have devastating consequences with their small ammunition. What do you think? Ukrainian armored vehicle was attacked by a Russian FPV drone on its way to support its troops. The 2 Ukrainian soldiers who got out of the armored vehicle wanted to hide among the trees at first. A drone following them reported their coordinates to the attack drone, and the attack took place. The target was not hit precisely, and the 2 soldiers wanted to hide in another shelter. Several more FPV drone attacks were then carried out on the bunker. The soldiers were probably unharmed, because the munitions on the drones are not powerful enough to destroy underground bunkers. Near Kupiansk in Kharkiv region, drone operators of the Ukrainian armed forces were shot down by Russian drone operators. Russian intelligence officers tracked down Ukrainian drone operators. Ukrainian drone operators set up a control center in the woods. Then Russian drones arrived on the scene and launched an attack. The control center was destroyed by fire. In the southeast of Chasova Yar, a soldier of the Russian armed forces engaged in an armed clash with 2 Ukrainian security guards. During this conflict, Russian drone operators supported the Russian soldier from the air. He was also assisted by attack drones. The Russian soldier also used grenades during the conflict. Ukrainian soldiers were under attack both from the air and from the ground and had to surrender to save their lives. Yes, this is a war. Every human life is precious. Surrendering is an option like fighting. Some are lucky enough to surrender to survive.
Ивано-Франковска.
Ну, ты-то точно должен был воевать за свою родину идти.
NATO-made equipment and armored vehicles used by Ukraine were destroyed by the famous Russian-made Prince of Novgorod Vandal. The vehicles visible in the video are the American Stryker armored personnel carrier and Humvee. The governor of Novgorod region, Andrei Nikitin, stated that the Prince Vandal UAV destroyed about $300 million worth of NATO equipment in the Special Military Operations Zone. In the Kurakova region, a group of soldiers of the armed forces of Ukraine hid in a bunker due to drone attacks. Having learned the coordinates of the bunker, Russian soldiers blew it up. This operation was carried out by the soldiers of the 150th Division of the 8th Guards Army of the Russian Armed Forces. The bunker was completely destroyed. In a village in the Kursk region, reconnaissance drones spotted several soldiers. Several attack drones mobilized to attack the soldiers hiding in ruined houses or huts. The soldier survived the first attack and immediately entered the ruins next door. Then the second attack took place and the building was completely destroyed. Do you think that soldier survived? Did he escape before the fire? The mission given to these two Russian soldiers was as follows. There is a group of Ukrainian soldiers in a ruined house. A bag full of mines must be thrown into the house where these soldiers are. This is exactly what these two Russian soldiers did. They threw the bag full of mines inside the door of the house and exploded it. The house blew up. In the Dzerzhinsky direction, several armored infantry vehicles were destroyed thanks to the coordinates given by reconnaissance drones to attack drones. Some of the vehicles had already been abandoned. The news sources I have learned do not say why the vehicles were abandoned. But this is what I think. These vehicles have been attacked before but lightly damaged. The crews inside the vehicles hid in ruined houses or in forested areas to avoid another attack. Or alternatively, the crews inside the vehicles have gone off to fight. That's why there is no one in the vehicles. Since the vehicles were waiting in the open as easy targets, it seems that they were easy to destroy. In the Kursk border region, a Lancet drone destroyed a tank of the Ukrainian armed forces with a direct hit. Lancet is a kamikaze unmanned aerial vehicle developed by Russia's Zala Aero Group. High explosive HE warheads. Characteristics: such warheads create a large explosive effect on the target and are generally used against unarmored or lightly armored targets. A military vehicle traveling in Kharkiv region was disoriented after a drone dropped a bomb. The vehicle, which turned back rapidly, was targeted by the FPV attack drone. The crew got out of the vehicle and quickly drove away, disappearing from sight. A third bomb was dropped on the vehicle and it became unusable. The temporary deployment point in Chernihiv region was destroyed by Russian drone operators. Why do you think troops gather at a temporary deployment point? Coordination and planning, organizing troops, goal and mission setting, distribution of equipment and resources, pre-operational preparation, medical services, latest status updates, adaptation to local conditions. For such reasons, the troops gather at the temporary deployment point. Write in the comments what other reasons you think there might be. In the settlement of Soledar, Donetsk region, Ukrainian soldiers were spotted by Russian reconnaissance drones. Then attack drones were activated. One of the soldiers hid in a small hut. A drone attack was carried out on the truck with the soldiers. There was a group of soldiers in the ruined house. FPV drone attacked directly on the ruined house. In the settlement of Velika Novosilka in the Donetsk region, strike groups of the Russian armed forces hit positions, vehicles, and various equipment of the Ukrainian armed forces. It is the precise positions provided by the drones that ensure accurate strikes by artillery howitzers. When drones and artillery units work in harmony, they can hit targets with pinpoint accuracy. If the units do not work in harmony, the operations will not be successful. Even in a soccer match, teamwork is very important. Imagine how important teamwork would be in a situation like war, where people's lives are at stake.
Бельгийская труба. Вот она. Тоже для... Я так понимаю, что это...
Motorized riflemen of the North Troop Group showed trophies captured in the village of Ruskoye Porechnoye, Kursk region. The battalion commander with the call sign Traveler showed grenades, machine guns, and other Western-made weapons captured during the war. The Belgian tube is thermobaric, like our Schmel flamethrower. The grenade launcher is Swedish, designed for firing in confined spaces. They took them out of their positions. They took them for themselves. They also use American 40mm grenades. In the Donetsk region, the reconnaissance unit of the 25th Combined Arms Army of the Zapad Forces Group detected a T-64 tank of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the area. The drone pilots of the Zapad Group then completely destroyed the tank with attack drones. An FPV drone attacked a mortar position of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kursk region. The drone exploded without hitting the mortar. The mortar was slightly damaged. Ukrainian soldiers in the Kurakovsky direction were attacked by Russian drone operators using FPV drones. A large number of drone attacks were carried out on soldiers in basements and bunkers. Since the explosives on the drones are not very large, they cannot destroy places such as bunkers and basements. However, they can cause damage. Depending on the damage, sometimes this damage can injure the enemy. This is what we see in this video. What do you think? Hot fighting continues in the Pokrovsky direction. Ukrainian troops were advancing with NATO-made vehicles and equipment. Then, one by one, Russian attack drones start attacking all vehicles, equipment, and weapons. As a result of these successive attacks by the Central Forces Group, armored vehicles, positions, bunkers, and communications equipment were destroyed. Near Kupiansk, the NATO M113 armored personnel carrier vehicle Novgorod Prince Vandal was destroyed by a fiber optic drone. The manufacturer of the M113 is FMC Corporation. 2 crew including driver and commander. Additional capacity to carry 11 infantry. In the Kursk border region, units of the Russian armed forces, working in concert with drone operators, neutralized targets in the bunker. Some soldiers went to other parts of the wooded areas, but the drones were following them. The reconnaissance drones reported the coordinates to the attack drones, and the operation started immediately. In a ruined house in a small town in the Donetsk direction, Ukrainian drone operators have set up a control center. Noticing this, Russian reconnaissance drone operators transmitted the coordinates of the ruined house to artillery units. The artillery fired without delay. 30th Artillery Brigade of the Vostok Group of the Russian Armed Forces. The tan in these images belongs to the American-made Abrams. The Abrams tank was disabled by Lancet in the village of Viktorovka in the Kursk region. The M1 Abrams is one of the most advanced main battle tanks of modern warfare and has achieved significant success throughout military history. With its firepower, armor protection, and mobility, it has been effective in many challenging combat conditions. In addition to the American Army, it is also used by many allied countries. Electronic warfare station of the Armed Forces of Ukraine camouflaged in the bushes. FPV drone operators of the Northern Group in the Kursk region destroyed the station. Russian reconnaissance drones spotted a T-72 tank parked in the bushes. After the coordinates of the tank were reported to the attack drone operators, the FPV drones of the Zapad power group attacked the tank used by the Ukrainian armed forces. The tank was destroyed with a hit on the hatch cover of the tank. The main armament of the T-72 tank is a 125mm 2A46 smoothbore gun. It has rapid fire capability thanks to its automatic loader. Secondary armament is a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun and a 12.7mm anti-aircraft machine gun. Russian armed forces destroyed the temporary deployment point. The assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine near Novodmitrovka in the Donetsk region received a direct hit from the FAB 1500. A heavy Baba Yaga drone was destroyed by a battering ram in the border region of the Kursk region. In modern warfare, there are a lot of new tools of warfare. Drones are now very cheap and easy to produce, so we often see drones on the battlefield. Do you think the war will soon be only between drones? You probably know the village of Velika Novosilka. It is a small village in the Donetsk region. The Russian Defense Ministry said that the armed forces of Ukraine are preparing a defense line and logistics center in the southern Donetsk direction. Especially since January, hot fighting has been going on in the village of Velika Novosilka. Due to the strategic location of Velika Novosilka, control of the town has the potential to affect the military balance in the region. Since the course of the conflict in the region is important both from a military and humanitarian point of view, I am closely following the developments in the region for you. A hiding place for foreign weapons was discovered in the former positions of the Ukrainian armed forces near Avdiivka, Donetsk region. The Regional Directorate of the Federal Security Service of Russia reported. These RGD-5 hand grenades. These 5.45mm cartridges. These PKM machine gun. These RPG hand grenade launcher. These M16A2 rifle made in the USA. In January, the fighters of the Vostok Group neutralized more than 1,000 explosive devices. You know how great a danger mines pose to both vehicles and human life. That's why the explosive disposal team is always in the field looking for and destroying enemy explosives. The armed army of the Zapad Forces Group used the Supercam drone to destroy the distribution points, artillery, military equipment, and various camouflaged materials of the armed forces of Ukraine. There are 4 Supercam drone models that I know. They are as follows: Supercam S, Supercam E, Supercam P, Supercam T. I will explain the details of these models in the following chapters. I won't go into details now. Russian FPV drone operators hit the Kozak-7 armored vehicle with a direct hit at an unexpected moment. The vehicle, which was severely damaged by the first drone, stopped on the side of the road, and the second attack took place immediately afterwards, and the vehicle was destroyed by fire. In the Kursk region, reconnaissance drone operators reported the coordinates of a large number of armored vehicles to the attack operators. At the same time, reconnaissance drones detected a basement with a group of infantrymen inside. Without wasting any time, successive drone strikes were launched against the basement and armored vehicles. If you notice in this video, the drone operators are attacking the weapons of the armored vehicles. In this way, the weapons of the armored vehicles are destroyed and the vehicle is almost no different from a normal car, an armored vehicle without weapons. The tracked armored personnel carrier M113 of the Armed Forces of Ukraine was destroyed by Russian FPV drones in the Pokrovsky direction. As far as I learned from the news, there are no personnel inside the armored vehicle, so the vehicle is empty. Russian reconnaissance drones detected a basement. Then the drone dropped an explosive device there. The soldiers affected by the smoke came out of the basement and entered the ruined building next to them. They were accompanied by a black dog. Then the attack FPV drone attacked the ruined building. The building was damaged. The soldiers and the dog inside the building were not injured. A Ukrainian T-64BV traveling alone northwest of Novoselivka was targeted by Russian FPV drones. My guess is that the T-64BV was on its way on a mission, but it did not realize that it was being tracked by Russian drones. As the T-64 was traveling on the road, suddenly a drone hit it and a fire broke out. As it continued burning, a second drone attacked. The vehicle stopped in the middle of the road. The crew got out of the vehicle and drove away. Russian FPV drone operators attacked a German Marden 1A3 infantry fighting vehicle stuck in the mud in the Kursk border region. After the vehicles got stuck in the mud, the crew got out of the vehicles and drove away. Other vehicles coming to rescue the German infantry fighting vehicle were also attacked by drones. At night, a Ukrainian BMP-1 was discovered in the village of Dvorishna in the direction of Kupiansk. Then, thanks to explosives dropped from drones, the vehicle was destroyed by fire. The news source does not mention the crew of the BMP-1. When I examined the video, I realized that there was no crew inside the BMP-1. The BMP-1 waiting just in front of a destroyed bridge was probably abandoned, or the crew continued on foot for another mission. I don't have any information about the region in which this video was made, but the vehicle destroyed in the video is the Ukrainian BMP-1. The BMP-1 is destroyed by attacking with a Russian-made Lancet drone. The Lancet drone is a kamikaze unmanned aerial vehicle developed by Russia, specifically designed to carry out attacks against sensitive targets on the battlefield. Such drones are widely used in modern warfare for both reconnaissance and destruction missions. The aviation of the Russian armed forces destroyed the concentration of the Ukrainian army on the right bank of the Dnieper, Kherson region. This is the Orlan-10 control operator. The Orlan-10 drone was manufactured by the Special Technology Center. The FPV drone operators of the Zapad Forces Group destroyed a Dutch-made YPR-765 infantry fighting vehicle used by the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kharkiv region. The weapons on board the YPR-765 are a 25mm Oerlikon KBA automatic cannon, main gun, and a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. In Kharkiv region, 3 soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces were waiting in an open area. Just then, a Russian FPV drone attacked and a fire broke out. Then the soldiers thought to hide in a ruined house. There were 3 more FPV drone attacks in a row. However, the drones exploded on the exterior of the house. Therefore, the soldiers were not injured. If the drone had been able to get inside, I think there would have been a devastating effect. Hot clashes continue in the village of Zelenoy, Donetsk region. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation reported that it has secured the village of Zelenoy. These images belong to the Ministry of Defense. It seems that the security in the village has been ensured as a result of air and ground operations.
Начинаем искать уже визуально.
Цель обнаружена, начали огневое воздействие.
Russian National Guard soldiers destroyed an attack drone of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Zaporozhye region. The Ukrainian drone was shot down. The Russian drone went and checked it out. Then another Russian drone loaded with explosives went to the Ukrainian drone and destroyed it at close range.
Well,
An unexploded part of a Ukrainian UAV was destroyed in the Kursk region. Drones can crash for various reasons. For example, they run out of battery, lose signal, are shot down by a rifle, suffer technical failure. For these and similar reasons, the drone may fall to the ground. However, there is still an explosive on it. Therefore, it is necessary to destroy it remotely. In the Kursk region, the Russian aerospace forces destroyed the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces during their attack on the village. Clashes in the region continue. Fighting continues in the village of Velikaya Novoselka, Donetsk region. Operators of the 57th Brigade of the Vostok Group destroyed the armored vehicle. In addition, drone wars have started. According to my research, the Baba Yaga drone developed by Ukraine costs around $20,000. The highly capable Baba Yaga drone was shot down in mid-air by Russian drone operators. In the morning, in Tetkino in the Kursk border region, NATO armored vehicles and paratroopers of the Ukrainian armed forces engaged in close combat with Russian troops in the border area. While the clashes were going on, Russian drone operators were involved in the conflict. At the same time, the drone operators reported the location of the armored vehicles to the artillery units and artillery shelling began. Russian FPV drone attacks continue in the Kursk region. Ukrainian armed forces soldiers driving a pickup truck jump out of the car at the last moment from a Russian FPV drone attacking their vehicle. Jumping out of a fast-moving vehicle is very dangerous, but they have to do it to survive the drone attack. To tell the truth, this is again not a solution, because after jumping out of the pickup, another FPV drone can attack you again. This time you may even be an easier target because you are in open terrain. What decision would you make in the soldier's place? Hot clashes between the Ukrainian armed forces and the Russian armed forces continue between Pokrovsk and Toretsk. The Central Forces Group destroyed a large number of Ukrainian military equipment, shelters, combat vehicles, armored personnel carriers, trucks, communication systems, ammunition depots with FPV drones. After World War II, I think there has never been such a big war. Yes, I'm talking about the Russia-Ukraine war. In this war, many new technological weapons were tested. Many weapons, especially drones, showed themselves in this war. Thanks to the cheap and fast production of drones, the course and drama of the war reached a very different level. I remember seeing this in the comments of the previous video. Please don't install artificial intelligence on drones. I think this friend was worried that drones would accidentally shoot his soldiers. Yes, drones are indeed a great danger for soldiers, and there is no solution to this yet. In Pokrovsky and Kurakovsky directions, 4 American-made M113 armored personnel carriers were rendered unusable as a result of the attack by Russian troops. As far as I know, the M113 is the main armored personnel carrier currently in service with the Ukrainian armed forces. It is an important armored vehicle for Ukraine.
Чё приуныл, загрустил, ну бывает.
The crews of the M113 armored personnel carrier vehicles, which were heavily damaged and unusable, abandoned the vehicle and took refuge in safe areas. As seen in these videos, some of the attacks were carried out with drones. I would like to know your comments on these images. Is it fair to destroy these million-dollar vehicles equipped with heavy armor with small FPV drones? I think this applies to both countries. Do you think drones will be the most powerful and unstoppable weapons of the future? Or will technology take care of that?
Так. Ладно, ходим. Слишком открытое место здесь.
The Russian armed forces destroyed the vehicles on the site of the Starlink station used by Ukraine. They also destroyed cargo vehicles, infantry vehicles, and various vehicles in the area. My guess is that Russian reconnaissance drones spotted these vehicles and transmitted the coordinates to the artillery units and launched the attack. Russian drone operators conducting reconnaissance in the Kursk region discovered a Ukrainian electronic warfare station. The coordinate information was then reported to the Prince Vandal drone operators. Without wasting any time, Prince Vandal took action and destroyed the electronic warfare station with a precision strike. In the Zaporozhye region, a fighter from the 42nd Guards Division crawled up to the bunker of the armed forces of Ukraine and, without wasting time, threw a TM-62 anti-tank mine. A minute later, the mine exploded, and with a loud bang, the bunker was blown up. It is triggered by remote control or using a delayed ignition system. This method can be particularly effective for destroying the entrance to the bunker and cutting off escape routes for those inside. If the bunker had been attacked by drones or artillery, the destruction would not have been so great. In this way, by directly dropping mines into the bunker, there can be massive destruction. Russian fiber-optic FPV drones hit a Swedish CV-90 infantry fighting vehicle in the Kursk region. In 2023, Sweden delivered CV-90 vehicles to Ukraine as part of military aid. This aid was aimed at increasing Ukraine's ground combat capacity. In the first phase, more than 50 CV-90s were sent to Ukraine, and these vehicles have been used in various combat missions. Russian engineering troops have extensive pontoon bridge infrastructure and training to ensure fast and efficient river crossing. Russia uses the following systems in such operations. TMM, Heavy Mechanized Bridge. It is a bridge system with a modular structure. It allows the passage of tanks and heavy vehicles. PMP, Pontoon Bridge System. Traditional pontoon bridge system. PMP-60 or more modern PMPM models are used for river crossings. PP-2005, a modern, high-capacity and fast deployment pontoon bridge system. Mechanical vehicles and support elements. With trucks, cranes, and specialized vehicles, pontoon bridge components are quickly transported and assembled. 2 UAV control points of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Seversky direction were destroyed by the Russian armed forces. It is not specified in the details of the news, but I think that this attack belonged to the artillery unit. Reconnaissance drone operators transmitted the coordinates to the artillery units, and then the attack took place. This is my interpretation and may not be definitive, friends. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation announced the destruction of the observation posts of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk border region. The fighting in the region remains fierce, with both sides continuing mutual offensive and defensive operations. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that control has been established over 63% of the Kursk region. This vehicle is the BM-21 Grad multi-barrel rocket launcher system, Ural 375D or Ural 4320 type truck chassis. It has a 122 mm caliber. 40 rockets are available, about 20 kilometers with standard rockets, 40 kilometers or more with modern rockets. All rockets can be launched in about 20 seconds. The BM-21 Grad is specifically designed to target large areas and is used to neutralize enemy units, such as infantry, armored vehicles, and logistic bases. In combination with various types of ammunition, it can provide both direct and indirect fire support. In this image, an armored combat vehicle of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kursk region is destroyed by FPV drone operators of the Rubicon Center. In the Dokhnoye village area, Kurakov direction, Russian drone operators destroy the FV-103 Spartan armored personnel carrier vehicle. The vehicle, which was heavily damaged by FPV drone strikes, stopped on the side of the road. The crew quickly got out of the vehicle and drove away. The armored vehicle, which was left alone, was then completely destroyed by drone strikes again. Because this bunker is a bit small, it seems quite easy for FPV drones to get inside. Since there was no protection to prevent the FPV drone from entering, the drone was able to enter easily. Earth or concrete bunkers cannot be damaged by drones, but if the entrance to the bunker is open and there are no obstacles, drones can easily enter. Russian soldiers have found a suitable spot to set up a UAV control point. They installed antennas and communication equipment for environmental control. After the drone calibration, the drone took off. A quick attack was launched against the previously identified target. The camouflaged Ukrainian vehicle was hit with a precision strike. The vehicle was destroyed by fire. Then, a drone attack was launched on the bunker where the Ukrainian Armed Forces unit was located. Ukrainian 120mm 2B11 mortar was destroyed by Russian troops near the village of Novolyubovka. The details of the attack are not specified, but I think it was another mortar attack or howitzer attack. Russian Gorinik tank evacuates abandoned M131 APC. This Russian tank seems to have a lot of protection. Probably they did it for drone protection. The crew of the M113 belonging to the Ukrainian Armed Forces is not visible in the video. They probably abandoned the armored vehicle and left. This lone armored vehicle is being moved off the road by Russian troops and taken to their positions. The T-72M1 tank used by the Ukrainian armed forces was destroyed as a result of an accurate hit by Russian FPV drone operators. In total, 2 drone strikes were made and the tank was blown up. The attack was carried out by FPV drone operators of the 25th Combined Arms Army of the Zapad Forces Group. Operators of the 51st Orbi Sparta FPV aircraft of the 80th Guards Army of the 51st Guards Army of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation delivered the final blow to the vehicle of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, which was badly damaged by a mine in Dzerzhinsk, destroying it. Russian drone operators destroyed the British-made armored personnel carrier FV-103 Spartan APC used by the Ukrainian armed forces with a precision strike. Russian armed forces continue their advance in the Seversky direction. The advance in the Seversky direction has reached 1.5 kilometers, according to news reports. In this video, it appears that the Russian armored infantry vehicle is moving forward with a few motorcycle soldiers behind it. The soldiers then get out of the armored vehicle and take cover. According to the intelligence received, there is a group of soldiers inside the building. Russian soldiers surround the building and start firing at close range. At the same time, they throw grenades. Russian troops are trying to move fast to ensure security in the area. A Russian soldier opens fire towards the basement. Ukrainian infantry fighting vehicle was attacked twice by Russian FPV drone operators. In the first attack, the vehicle was damaged and stopped on the side of the road to unload the crew. In the second attack, the vehicle was blown up. The artillery of the Vostok Group struck positions built in forested areas in the Rozliv settlement in the southern Donetsk direction. There are structures built in the forest for various purposes. Russian reconnaissance drone operators detect these points and transmit their coordinates to the artillery units. Artillery units then open fire at the designated position. As a result of the harmonious work of artillery and drone units, the targets are hit and destroyed. What do you think is the place of drones in modern warfare? Do you think drones are the main element that changes the course of war? You can write your thoughts in the comments section, but don't use bad words and don't fight. Calm down. I leave it to you, dear viewers, to comment on the news of this video. What would you like to say about this image? Please write your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to specify the duration of the video. The M100 howitzer destroyed the temporary deployment point of the armed forces of Ukraine on the right bank of the Dnieper River in the Kherson region. It was reported by the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation. The M100 has a caliber of 152 millimeters. While the range of its standard ammunition is 24 to 28 kilometers, it can reach up to 40 kilometers with rocket-assisted ammunition. It has a rate of fire of 6 to 7 rounds per minute. Its crew is between 6 to 8 people. It is transported by truck or special towing vehicles. There is also a self-propelled version called 2S-19 MSTAS. The Russian drone crew struck and destroyed the Ukrainian army's temporary deployment point on the right bank of the Dnieper River in the Kherson region. The two S-19 Memsta-S self-propelled crew hit the strongholds of the Ukrainian armed forces in the border area of the Kursk region. With well-calculated coordinate information of the drone operators, the targets were hit precisely. In the forest plantation, the FPV drone operator discovered an American towed howitzer M119, covered with camouflage netting. Despite the dense trees and bushes in the surrounding area, the drone moved slowly, circling and moving steadily towards the target. He destroyed the towed howitzer by hitting its vulnerable point. The source who shared the video did not mention where it took place, nor did he share much information about the incident. As far as I understand from the video, Russian Lancet kamikazes are attacking the temporary deployment points of mercenaries one after another. As far as I know, 6 mercenaries lost their lives as a result of this attack. The documents of the soldiers who lost their lives were also shared, but I cannot share them due to community rules. A hidden self-propelled gun of the armed forces of Ukraine was destroyed by a drone operator, hitting the target precisely, without rushing, calmly, and without complex maneuvers. The drone operator is extremely cold-blooded. A Russian fiber-optic drone is following the Swedish BMP CV-90 mechanized infantry fighting vehicle of the Ukrainian armed forces at close range. The drone operator waits for an opportune moment to attack the fast-moving armored infantry vehicle. When it thinks it is most appropriate, it accelerates and attacks the armored infantry vehicle in an attempt to destroy it. The fighting in Pokrovsk and Toretsk continues fiercely. In these images, M113 and VAB armored personnel carriers, armored combat vehicles, trucks, pickup trucks, troop positions, bunkers, communication devices, surveillance devices, as well as howitzers and tanks of the Ukrainian armed forces were destroyed with precision strikes by FPV drones. The munitions used by Russian FPV drones are as follows: F1 grenade, RGO/RGN grenades, RPG-7 rocket heads, cumulative munitions, RPG-7HEAT heads, and RKG-3 grenade modification. A Russian fighter throws a Molotov cocktail into the basement where soldiers are stationed. In this video from Kurakovsky direction, 2 Leopard 1A5 German main battle tanks were destroyed by FPV drones with precision strikes. It seems that the crew of the tank abandoned the tank for another mission or for some other reason. Or they got out of the tank and dispersed to the area for close combat. Or they abandoned the tank to escape the drone attack. Which of these do you think could have happened, or what else could have happened? In the direction of Pokrovsk, the Swedish BVS-10 armored tracked amphibious vehicle used by the Ukrainian armed forces was lying abandoned in the open. Russian FPV drone operators entered the vehicle from the driver's seat and destroyed it. Drone operators of the Vanya Group planned an attack on the M113 armored personnel carrier standing alone near the village of Pokrovsk, but the drone operator attacked from the rear of the armored vehicle. That's why I think the armored vehicle was probably slightly damaged. This is my interpretation. If he had attacked the engine part or the weapon part, it could have had a more devastating effect. The Russian Defense Ministry has published footage of the objective control of the destruction of a 120mm mortar. 2 soldiers are seen in the video. The details of the news report do not specify how the attack took place, but I think it was a FPV drone attack. If it was an artillery attack, there would have been a bigger explosion. The snipers of the Combined Arms Army of the Zapad group of forces set off on a mission.
Смотри от ближнего, который слева 800 был. Потом там опорник необитаемый где-то. И тот, который на 1230.
1200. Движение группы.
Наблюдаем пока. Замеряемся и через тепляк работаем.
986. Есть попадание.
Потом выходим.
Небо чисто.
An American Max Pro armored military vehicle was detected in the Pokrovsky direction. The armored military vehicle was completely destroyed by sending 4 FPV drones in succession. There is no information about the crew in the news source. Probably nothing happened to the crew, because as far as it can be seen in the video, it seems that some of the crew got out of the armored vehicle before the attack. I guess the other soldiers must have gotten out of the armored vehicle before the next attacks. During the advance in the Dakhnoye area, drone operators of the 150th Division of the 8th Guards Army, of the 150th Division of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, detected a movement. A direct drone attack was launched on the pickup truck, and the drone was destroyed by fire. Engineers from the Zapad forces cleared the road of mines and explosives as part of the training. Remote-controlled vehicles are also used in demining operations. These vehicles are designed to reduce the risk of mine explosions and are equipped with various sensors and equipment. For example, remotely controlled vehicles with subsurface radar on the front of the vehicle detect mines and enable operations from a safe distance. A Russian fiber optic drone destroyed a T-72 tank in the Novosergeyevka residential area. The camouflaged T-72 tank was detected by reconnaissance drone operators. Drone strikes were then carried out until it was destroyed. As far as the video shows, the first drone strike was to destroy the camouflage. The second attack was made directly to destroy the target. When the second attack was not enough, the third drone was sent, and the T-72 tank was destroyed. In the Kharkiv region, 4 soldiers set off in a Humvee, but something unexpected met them on the way. There is nothing about the cause of the explosion in the details of the news. I don't think it was a mine that caused this explosion. I think it could have been a self-propelled howitzer, but it takes a lot of skill to hit a moving vehicle so accurately. What do you think? What could be the source of the explosion? Earlier, a T-80 BVM main battle tank was stolen from the Russian armed forces. Then, a fiber optic drone crashed into the tank detected in the Yuzhny residential area of the Kursk region and destroyed the tank. Operators of fiber optic FPV drones KVN of the Russian National Guard destroyed the 2 S-1 Gvozdika self-propelled gun of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region. In the Kursk direction, the drone operator destroyed an element of battlefield control. Bombers in the area of responsibility of the Vostok Group of the 11th Guards Army of the Air Defense Air Force continue to be dispatched. In the direction of Kharkov, Russian drone operators targeted the M113 armored personnel carrier and attacked in order to destroy it. However, the video shows a single drone attack, and the attacking drone operator does not hit the M113's vulnerable point. If he had attacked the M113 from the left side instead of the right side, maybe he could have destroyed the vehicle, because the engine part of the M113 is located on the front left side.